Hey guys, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this super cool, super interesting fading Arduino LED. Well, it's a bit advanced because you need to know a few more stuff. It'll be a little bit harder to explain, but I hope you'll be able to catch on. But before we start the actual Arduino LED thing, we need to know what for loops are because they're going to be a big part in this project. So, before we start, let's roll the intro. So before we start doing our project, we need to know what for loops are. So for loops are like a type of loop. And just so you know, for loops in C++, the Arduino programming language, for loops with that programming language is much easier than for loops with like let's say Python, because it's just more intuitive to do. So for loops are enclosed in curly braces, and they need so you need to have, they're like mostly 3 segments for most for loops. You need to define a variable, you need to give it a comparison, and then after that you give a final statement. And then in the curly braces you can tell it what to do for that for loop. For loops or for statements are basically like, for this happening, do this many times, something like that. So we're gonna be doing a PWM. If you don't know what that means, it's pulse width modulation, or in an LED's case, pulse, like the brightness width modulation that can go up and down. And so there are not that many pins that can do it. There are pins 3, 5, 6, 9, and 11, 10 as well. So there's not too many pins you can do it with. So those are the only pins that'll work with PWM. So the only thing you need to do is put a wire up an LED. You can use a breadboard or something like that. If you know, I can put up a schematic just to show you. If you don't know how, you just put up an LED, and then what you can do is you just need to do the code, and it can flicker its brightness going up and down, stuff like that. So now we can get onto the code for the project, and I hope you really like it because I think it's going to be very fun. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be making a variable called wait, and we're going to make that equal to 5. So wait is going to be our delay time, and we're going to make that 5 milliseconds. So it's extremely short. Over here we're going to write pin mode. And since it is connected to pin 3 as our PWM pin, we're going to do 3, and then we can do output. And so now that we have that, we can go here and we can use for loops. So the way we write it is for parentheses. I'm going to write A. So for A equals 0. And we're going to do as long as A is less than 255, A will go up. So basically the LED is going to be turning on slowly. So, and then here what we're going to write is analog write. And basically analog write, it's not for analog pins, but for PWM. It has nothing to do with analog pins. So you can just think of it as a PWM kind of turning on off type of thing. Then we write 3 and we write A. So it'll do that, and it'll do it. So if A equals to 0, then it won't be on. And if it equals to 5, it'll be slightly on. So that gives it the fading on type of, like, it's going to give it the fading on type of like look. And then we do delay. And we do wait. So it's going to wait 5 milliseconds, so it looks like it's slowly turning on. So delay, wait. And then now we finish our first for loop. What we can do now is we can make another for loop. So for, and we're going to do A equals, this time we can write something else, and A will be equal to 0 again. And we can write if A equals greater than or equal to, A is not going to be equal to 0. It's going to be 255. And we can write if A equals greater than or equal to 0, then what we can do is we can write A minus minus. So this is going to be the fading like out LED. So it's going to be turning off and it's going to be slowly fading. Now we write analog. We're going to write exactly the same as over here. And then we can write the exact same thing over here. Okay, so now we have all of that done. And then at the very end we write delay 200. So it's going to wait a fifth of a millisecond after it does all this code. So basically this is how it works. A++ means, okay, in this scenario it means like turning on. A minus minus means turning off. So this is what it would look like. I hope it's not very complicated for you. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section. I will gladly answer. And I hope and this is what it looks like. It should be popping up right about now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And just so you know, the wires are connected to pin 3, ground. I can show you in the video that's gonna pop up sometime, and it's also gonna be connected to a 560 or 220 ohm resistor. Either one you have, you can pick. So I hope you enjoyed the video.